The essentiality of temple and family history work and the most important attribute in this work. And God saw everything that he made, and behold, it was very good. Yet unless the hearts of the fathers turn to the children, and the hearts of the children to their fathers, the earth's purpose will be wasted. Thus the essentiality of temple and family history work. As the work of the Lord spreads around the world, let us take some small glimpses into the essentiality of this work and the most important attribute in this great cause. We live in a fast-moving informational world. On Facebook alone, over 5 billion pieces of content are shared each day. There are over 4 million Google searches per minute and over 18 billion hits to Wikipedia per month. Too often we wonder, what is going on? Even in family history and genealogical work, one needs to be constantly an archaeologist, sleuth, and author all in one. It seems daily there are new informational updates to study and various digitalizing machines to become acquainted with. New books, websites, program classes are constantly being offered and updated as we try to drink out of the fire hose of knowledge to be able to just help others. Thus one asks, is the acquisition of knowledge the most important attribute in family history work? Elder Quentin Cook recently reminded us of the essential role Christ-like love plays in temple and family history work. He states that the love of the Savior and love of our fellow men and women is the primary attribute and motive to gather Israel on both sides of the veil. Personally, I find myself needing to constantly evaluate if I'm doing all I can to acquire this essential attribute. Elder Cook states that as we learn of the trials and hardship of our ancestors, our love and appreciation for them is magnified. As we learn about our ancestors and about others, as each has their own story and experiences, we gain a greater understanding and compassion for them, which will help us develop Christ-like love. And that brings greater desire to serve and to help. Let me share 3 examples around the world of how the essentiality of family history leads to greater love, compassion, and service. In 2010, I was very fortunate to be able to go with LDS Charities on the USNS Mercy, a U.S. Navy hospital ship, the 3rd largest ship in the U.S. Navy, for 5 weeks with Pacific Partnership. While arranged and supported by the U.S., 9 other nations and a number of organizations sent participants. Of the over 1,000 on board, there were 35 from LDS Charities. We would spend a week at various Indonesian islands holding cultural events. Seabees would help rebuild schools. Medical and dental teams would perform life-changing treatments and surgeries. The veterinary team, of which I was a part, would go off-ship into villages working with local agencies in the care of animals. Greater understanding, friendship, and bonds were formed. Actually, every Christmas since, a kind Christian fellow I met there and I still send Christmas greetings. At the end of each week, a reception was held on the Mercy for Indonesian government dignitaries. One week, I was asked to represent LDS Charities at this reception and was assigned a table with several Cambodian doctors. They spoke very limited English, and I zero Cambodian, so we spent the evening smiling and eating and nodding and smiling and nodding at each other. Then the thought came, show them pictures of my family. I just happened to have a little iPod in my pocket upon which a daughter had loaded family pictures. As I showed these pictures, the Cambodians each got out their cell phones or wallets and showed me and each other pictures of their families and loved ones. What had begun as an awkward event turned into a wonderful, caring experience. After that, each time we saw each other on the ship, we acknowledged our friendship and respect formed through family pictures. Recently, some good friends, Lynn and Tess Wardle from Puyallup, Washington, accepted to serve as missionaries in Ghana. At first, they experienced some fear and apprehension as they went forward to serve. Yet, as they got to know the people, their lives and their stories, great love developed for all. The Wardles' desire to serve these wonderful people grew as they learned more about them, along with their culture and their histories. Last example. In 2014 to 2015, I was very fortunate to be able to go to Guangzhou, China, to teach at a college with the amazing BYU China Teachers Program. I was to teach oral and business English and writing. Besides not being sure I could ever tell them apart, I had a great challenge in developing a curriculum. BYU provides tremendous resources but leaves each class curriculum up to the teachers as to their own situations. I had taken several English grammar books to China, but soon discovered that if I had learned any of the English rules 50 years ago, I had forgotten them. I was under a lot of stress figuring out what and how to teach. Fortunately, I was in southern China and was 4 hours from Hong Kong. A couple of months after being in China, I was in the temple praying and pondering my situation when the thought came to me, teach what I knew, especially family history. I had fortunately served 2 years prior at the BYU Family History Library. So I taught family history and family values, family relations. Students did pedigree charts. Wrote and talked in English about their hometowns, their parents, childhood and school experiences, their heroes, their grandparents, their talents, about life values, and about interests. But one student wrote about a principle learned from his parents. The most unforgettable principle I learned from my parents is being honest. When I was about 8 years old, I always wanted to buy some snacks and some cola as well, but I didn't have enough money. So there pop up an idea in my mind. Get some money from my dad's purse. Just 2 yuan. He won't note it. At first, it was only 2 yuan. I got from his purse. Gradually, it reached 50. And finally, when I wanted to grab 100 yuan from his purse, they caught me. They hold a family meeting and explained to me that this kind of action I did called stole. I was terrified. What? Get money from my parents? Parents? Stole? I didn't want to be a thief. So from then on, I will honestly told them how much I need when buying snacks, clothes, etc. Thanks for this principle they taught me. I am aware of my fault and make it correct. Wasn't that tender? Here's another that wrote of the qualities and attributes looking for in a spouse. First, I hope I can be one of the 2 women that he loves most, and the other one is his mother. Then he should be gentle and kind. And if he's intellect, I will love him more. As to appearance, I don't really care about that. Most interesting were each's personal histories. Here's a couple from over the 220 students I was very fortunate to become acquainted with. Don't you feel greater closeness and love towards the Chinese seeing these family pictures? One student told the amazing story of his great-grandfather and how he sacrificed his life in rescuing others from the tragedy of war. His family now gathers each year on a day celebrated in China for over 2,500 years to honor ancestors. On Gingming or Tomb Sweeping Day, they roast a pig and honor their great-grandfather. As we learned of each other, tremendous respect and love developed. Many called me their American grandpa. When I went home to visit my family between semesters in February 2015, a class sent some presents for my newest grandson. From these and other experiences, getting to know and understand others, we see that God is mindful of every people, whatsoever land they may be in. Yea, he numbereth his people, and his bowels of mercy are over all the earth. It is true that as we come to know others, we come to love them and can better serve them. This is with our ancestors. This is why the full-time missionary's best friend and helpers should be the temple and family history consultants. And with those we strive to help, we can love them also. Besides trying to gain a knowledge about family history, we should take time to find love in those that we work with. We can do that by asking who they are and what they're about. Ask what they've done and what they seek to achieve. Listen to them and their family stories. Encourage them. Not only those we serve we should seek to love, but also those we serve with. Take time to learn about those we serve with and their families and their challenges. As we do, we will develop greater love for them and be able to love serving them. Remember, as Elder Cook stated, that Christ-like love is the center of all we do in temple and family history work.